Assalamualaikum, selamat petang, selamat hari Jumaat. Hari ini kita bersiaran sekali lagi dari live Facebook page Cradle Fund, MYHackathon Daily Updates. Every weekdays jam 6 petang. Okay, thank you very much yang dah ada dekat menonton kita punya FB live hari ini. Terima kasih banyak-banyak. Saya percaya audiens yang setia bersama kita setiap hari semestinya telah mendapat input berguna daripada speaker-speaker yang kita telah jemput untuk beberapa hari malah beberapa minggu ini. Jadi jangan lupa juga untuk tekan butang like dan kongsikan Facebook Live ini kepada rakan-rakan anda supaya lebih ramai lagi individu di luar sana mendapat manfaat daripada perkongsian MYHackathon Daily Updates kita hari ini. So InsyaAllah untuk peserta MYHackathon Daily Updates juga untuk MYHackathon Kuala Lumpur dan juga MYHackathon Kuala Terengganu yang telah disenarai pendek, mereka akan menyertai sesi bootcamp sebaik sahaja CMCO kita tamat dan juga of course secara virtual. Dan anyway, untuk MYHackathon Daily Updates hari ini, topik yang akan kita bincangkan adalah every application's secret weapon, simplicity or accessibility. Dan orang yang akan bersama-sama saya mengulas tentang topik ini pada hari ini ialah tak lain tak bukan iaitu Yusno Yunos, CEO and founder Evenesis. Hello Yusno.
Hi Afifah.
Hai, apa khabar?
Alhamdulillah, how are you?
Saya pun baik juga. So how was your day? Is it good?
Okay, not bad. Meetings one after another as usual. When you are at home, you tend to have more virtual meetings.
Betul. So, untuk pengetahuan semua juga, Yusno ni merupakan CEO dan founder untuk Evenesis, a complete cloud-based end-to-end event management system. And recently, Yusno ni juga telah diiktiraf sebagai most influential leaders in MICE industry dalam Global MICE and Luxury Travel Congress and Awards 2020. And untuk Evenesis itself, the system has been listed as the top 20 most user-friendly event management software by Capterra pada tahun 2018 dan recognized as the top 30 most promising software brands by Cloudware in Web Summit 2015 di Dublin. Dan ada outstanding awards yang telah dimenangi oleh Evenesis ni, antaranya termasuklah winner of Malaysia Intel APEC Startup Challenge 2013, pemenang 2 kali MSC Malaysia Epicta Awards 2013 dan 2011 dan dicalonkan untuk Asia's Top 50 Apps. Dan jika kita lihat daripada senarai anugerah yang telah dimenangi oleh Evenesis, it will be interesting for our audience to know how it started or how you come up with idea inventing Evenesis. Like perhaps you can share a little bit with us.
Boleh Afifah. Okay, thank you Cradle, thank you MYHackathon, Magic, the organizers of MYHackathon basically for having me today. To answer your question, bila kita bermula tu, when we started, it's been a long time. I think we first started back in 2010, 2010. So dah 10 tahun lah Evenesis ni. So the idea came from basically my wedding back in 2007. So kita basically wanted to help wedding planners lah masa tu. So we built a software for wedding planners. That was back in 2010. And then a couple of years after that, we actually pivoted. And then we ventured into, kalau tadi tu Afifah ada mention pasal MICE kan, meetings, incentives, conventions and exhibitions. So we ventured into MICE industry ataupun business events, and that's where we started scale. And Alhamdulillah, we are where we at today, not just in Malaysia, but also in few other countries like Singapore, Indonesia, Hong Kong, and some other countries macam in UAE and also in India. And all of these things are basically from the help, not just from our side, but also from government agencies, including Cradle themselves, who funded us back in the early days. And also MDEC.
MDEC, yes. So, so far, what is your biggest client or yang you pernah bekerjasama menggunakan Evenesis ni?
Okay, it is interesting because when we finished our funding from Cradle back in 2012, they were they were the first one to actually use and become our client until today. Yeah? So kalau ikutkan, they were the longest serving, the most loyal client that we had until
Wow.
today. Very, very good, very supportive of local solutions, local technologies, and we very appreciate all the things that they have done for us. That is one of the companies that have been with us for many, many years. Other than that, kita ada a lot of event companies who work with us, and also a lot of corporations, GLCs, banks in Malaysia, and also overseas as well.
Mm-mm-mm. So back to our topic, which is every application secret weapon, simplicity or accessibility. So maybe you boleh bagi definisi ataupun meaning terlebih dahulu untuk of simplicity and accessibility in applications, and how are these two different from one another?
Okay, sure. So the topic today is very interesting because to me, both accessibility and simplicity, they are very subjective. Yeah, subjective meaning that it is really depending on who is using and who is actually looking at a certain application, right?
Mm-mm.
So I won't answer the question yet, which one is the best secret weapon for an app. But let me start with number one, kita define simplicity. Kan? This is not makeup brand simplicity. So we're talking about simplicity as in making things simpler,
Yep.
right? It's as simple as making things simpler. So um, if we if we start looking at the things that we do, whether you are a startup or whether you are a business growing, kan,
Mm-mm.
everything that we do, I always believe in making things easy enough for people to understand,
Yep.
for our clients to understand, for our app to be able to be used easily, kan?
Mm-hmm.
So that is simplicity. And then simplicity ni comes in many ways, right? Because kalau back when I finished my study, so in early 2000 dulu,
Mm-hmm.
masa tu I still remember Amazon was just started, and then they had this one click untuk check out, and one click check out. They were the first one untuk buat shopping semua ni, one click je dah boleh check out, terus boleh bayar dan sebagainya.
Mm-mm.
So those were the days where people are trying to make things very fast, simple, and this is what they consider it as making your user interface friendlier lah. So this is where the terms masa tu keluar, orang duk cakap pasal UI sini, UI sana, interface ni lah, interface sana kan. But those were the early 2000s, and then recently lah, I think for the past 5 years, we are seeing people are now talking about UI slash UX pula.
Yes.
Kan, dia ada user interface slash
User.
ataupun end user experience kan. And sometimes the way I see it is that people are confused with these two terms. They just lembat je kan. Aku punya UX lah paling power, aku punya UI lah paling power kan. My bila pitch dalam a certain competition, they will say that yeah, we have the best user interface, our user experience is the best, but you can see that people don't quite understand the terms when they are being used loosely like that. Kan? So to make things simpler is that your UI interface ni basically cover, kalau dalam app tu ataupun dalam you punya website tu, it's all about the asset that you are interacting with. Yeah, so this is where we're talking about color lah, button lah, the number of pages, screens that you have to shorten or remove kan, to make things easier for people to use. But experience it covers beyond that. User experience it cover everything about your company, not just that particular product and service, from start till end. I give you an example. The business that we are in, kan? We are in the business of serving people who are doing events. So we build software to help people run events, right? So for us to be very simple, our users must be able to use it easily. Macam Facebook lah kan, boleh tahu login, boleh tahu klik sana, klik sini. So that one is more on the interface side. But our goal as a company is to give them a better experience, so that the events too are more enjoyable, they are more engaged kan. So the user experience covers beyond the application.
Yep.
Covers from the time you do the interaction with our salesperson to actually use our software, and then bila orang pergi event, orang datang event, how is the experience when they do live interaction over the internet. So this is practically UX ataupun user experience.
Yes.
So simplicity or making things simpler covers this your UI, your UX, and ensuring that everything is easy enough for people to understand. So that's my I'll start with the definition of simplicity on that angle, yeah. Now if you look at accessibility pula, ini pun interesting juga sebab those days, early days, we were talking about masa tu at the tip of your finger kan. Semua orang nak guna perkataan tip of the finger kan. This thing at the tip of a finger lah, meaning that everything is accessible on your mobile kan. So this is where we start talking about device compatibility kan. Masa tu kita ada Windows lah, MacBook lah, lepas tu kalau dari segi browser kita ada macam-macam jenis browser, and then masuk mobile phone ada macam-macam jenis OS kan. Kita ada iOS, Android, Huawei, Windows OS masa tu. So people have to access with multiple devices, and this is where developers or businesses are cracking their head to see macam mana kita nak make these things more accessible to people with different devices. So devices is one. Then we talk about internet compatibility ataupun internet connectivity pula. This is a different level of accessibility lah. As you can see recently kan, hari tu ada apa network Celcom problem kan recently
Lalu
selalu and then when that happens, you know lah, basically you are basically you're dead lah basically you can't do anything without internet nowadays kan. So internet also plays an important role in terms of accessibility of your application kan. So this is where sometimes when we were working with some NGOs couple of years back, when they are doing or they are asking us to build an app for them to collect data from people who are in the remote area where tak ada internet dekat kawasan orang asli dan sebagainya kan. How do you design an app that is able to do that and then sync back the data when they are back in the world where they are connected to the internet. So dia ada macam hybrid mode dan sebagainya. So this is some of the things that our startup founders, developers, CTOs need really to think about in terms of having bukan always on internet connections, but there will be cases definitely when you won't have an internet. And last but not least is of course when you talk about accessibility, kita cakap pasal disabilities juga. And we are not building an app, of course it has to serve a certain purpose, right? But if it is a B2C app where people from different walks of life are using it kan, some people are not able to see, some people are not able to talk kan, how is your app is able to allow this group of people to access it successfully. So these are the things that you would have to think about when you are building your app and ensuring that they are basically your secret weapon. So let's understand or let's have that clear definition about simplicity and also accessibility.
Yes. So kita bercakap tentang efficiency. Daripada simplicity, accessibility leads to efficiency of an apps, right? Kalau saya ni jenis seorang pengguna yang mementingkan flow application yang bila buka aja terus on point, like kita tahu kita nak benda tu then dia terus menyajikan kita apa yang kita nak. Other than that, saya ni seorang jenis pengguna aplikasi yang nak aplikasi tu pantas and at the same time ada design yang clean, yang tak serabut. So if I want to give you two examples of application, which is satu MySejahtera and the other one is Settle by Petronas. So maybe Yusno boleh ulas mengenai kedua-dua aplikasi ini, whether what are their advantages ataupun ciri-ciri killer yang ada pada kedua-dua aplikasi ini. Ambil contohlah sebagai contoh.
Okay, I suppose Afifah guna dua-dua Okay, good. The difference kalau beza antara these two app is very straightforward. Satu ialah kita dipaksa guna MySejahtera. Dan yang kedua, untuk Settle kita tak dipaksa guna Settle. So dia ada perbezaan. So sebabnya bila a certain app is being forced onto you, sometimes you don't have a choice. And then when you don't have a choice and that's the only app that is out there, of course you have a competitor to that lah. For example macam MySejahtera, you ada selangkah kan. But then again now they have integrated their data. But then government has always been sort of like not advising lah. It's like recommending us to download and use. And then all of the premises memang dah ada code MySejahtera right now. Okay. So as you actually use this app, when you don't have a choice, it seems like, yep, this is something that we just have to bear with it and then expect them to improve over the time. I still
Yeah.
remember the first day I sign up for MySejahtera. I'm not sure when you sign up, Afifah. Tapi masa saya sign up tu, saya ingat I did not get my confirmation code like 2-3 days after I sign up. So I cannot actually use that app for until I receive that confirmation code lepas I sign up. Kan? So it was a really bad experience lah. But I'm not sure how it is right now. I hope those hiccups semua dah fixed by the developers lah. But the way I see it is when you add more features to an app, things will get more complicated. That's definite. Kan? Sebab kalau you tengok dulu masa zaman Facebook, sebelum Facebook ada Facebook app, dia ada Facebook website lah. Right? And then Facebook website ada macam-macam. Ada Facebook ads, ada Facebook pages. And then when they are trying to build an app to host all of these features, they can't. Right? Dia tak boleh letak semua features dalam satu Facebook app, which is why now they have Facebook Messenger app separately, Facebook Pages Manager as a separate app, Facebook as a separate app, kan? So dia kena pecah-pecahkan ni so that people know that each app serves a certain function. Okay? So with MySejahtera it's the same thing. Initially it was just a matter of giving information and also allowing people to check in easily, kan? So lepas data dah ada, scan dan sebagainya, and then they upgraded with more features. For example, right now I can also check in for my my wife, my kids, my parents, kan? But if you ask me, is it easy enough for us to actually do that without the steps given on the website? Kan? So I'm not sure about you juga. Some of us have to actually play around with the menus and then to see dekat mana nak add my parent, dekat mana nak add my wife, kan, in terms of context dan sebagainya, kan. So those are the things that I believe in terms of usability wise can be improved, kan. And then kita tak boleh lari daripada accessibility as well, because I'm not sure whether it is a hybrid or non-hybrid kind of app where if there is no internet connection, can I still scan? Right? I believe we can, if I'm not mistaken. Because there was a time where I think in that one area too, suddenly my internet dropped, but then I opened MySejahtera and I can still check in for that particular location. So I believe they have that features where they can actually allow you still to check in without the connection, but then later on send the data back to the central database lah. So that's my serba sedikit ulasan berkenaan dengan MySejahtera, sebab it is something that is being ask for you to use rather than a list of apps that you can use and then download, and then we can basically discuss more about the usability lah. Okay, with regards to Settle ni, is very interesting. Because this is a pure that to me, I believe it is very innovative solution. And it is trying to break a lot of boundaries here in terms of how we do things differently lah. They were the first one to allow people to actually start making transactions from the car, kan, without going to the cashier dekat depan dan sebagainya. And now they are testing out delivery from kedai mesra straight to your car, kan, in some petrol stations. I'm not sure whether Afifah is aware of that. So it is not just about the app, because tadi we were talking about user interface. It is, but they have gone beyond the UI and start looking at the experience of you ataupun the journey of us as a user. Bawa kereta and then dah sampai, tak payah nak beratur panjang, pilih pump mana. Before this you kena top up dalam you punya account, but now they are allowing you, they have allowed you to actually link directly to your debit or credit card, kan. So that new feature pun dah ada, so which is very good. And now let's say if I just don't have time to go into kedai mesra, I can just quickly order a few items and then just wait in the car for the items to be delivered. So your experience are now different, you see. So people would be, even though I'm not sure how effective this will be yet, but the way I see it, it is a game changer. It is something that is allowing us to interact with kedai mesra dan juga Petronas differently from now onwards. So yeah, to me it is definitely a very simple app to use. I know Petronas is spending a lot of resources for Settle. And I've seen their UX team is quite big as well over there.
So kalau saya pendapat saya mengenai app Settle ni, sebab most of the time sekarang it's sangat leceh dengan SOP with the new norms. Orang dah macam kurang pergi ke ATM untuk ambil duit. So before this, if nak pump minyak dekat stesen minyak, kalau guna debit card nanti akan float a certain amount of money dalam kita punya debit card. But now with Settle, from my experience, boleh pump terus saja. It's a less hassle punya applications, which is like prefer untuk semua orang pakai Settle if they go to isi minyak kat stesen Petronas.
Exactly. And I think this is where a lot of applications out there need to look at the integration of data and also the interlink between the apps, so that people I do know the fact that Settle is focusing on Petronas, right? You can't see Settles being used for Shell because Settle is meant for Petronas, betul? But then how you're going to capture those markets where people are paying with some other e-wallets, right? So this is where I see how amazing Boost have actually done it with Settle.
Yep.
And recently pun you boleh tengok Boost allow you to actually pay and use Settle from their own app.
Yeah.
And so these are a lot of different type of I would say experience that a lot of these companies, developers are doing to ensure that kita punya experience ni dijaga dan is at the optimum level.
Yep.
It's simple. It's as simple as that. No matter where am I can use Boost or I can be in Settle, but I can still do the same transaction.
Mm-hmm. So, back to your innovation, which is Evenesis. Boleh tak you share your experience building the apps? Maybe include ciri-ciri simplicity, ciri-ciri accessibility, and boleh cerita juga your experience jadi coach and mentor untuk a few app startup yang you dah bimbing setakat ni.
Sure. So untuk produk kita sendiri, which is Evenesis ni, I have to be honest that simplicity is a journey. Simplicity is a journey. You cannot get it right on day one, especially for startups. Okay? So for those yang join MYHackathon too, and then when you're trying to build a prototype, I don't know, like maybe 0.001% kot out of any prototypes that are built out there are very simple. Kan? So same goes, I mean, with us. I think when we first started in 2010, I would say we have gone way beyond what we had at that point in time. Right now we are in version 4, so our version 1.0 or even less than 1.0 at that point in time was, kalau tengok balik sekarang pun memang boleh digelakkan lah. That's normal as you go through the journey kan. And we understood the reason why, simply because to build something that is really simple is really hard. We have to understand that. So the best app out there, the simplest app out there is the one that is being taken a long time and a lot of resources to be built. Itu yang orang tak faham. Sebab apa yang saya selalu nampak ialah dia tengok satu app, senangnya app ni, tolong buat something app macam ni boleh tak? Lepas tu bila you tell them the resources required kan, the amount of money you need to raise, dia macam tak percaya kenapa banyak sangat duit diperlukan to actually build a simple app like whatever yang they mentioned. So same goes with us. We spend a lot of money and we invested a lot of money to improve kita punya UI dan juga UX throughout the years. So we have gone through, I think, 2 different cycles of branding in terms of aligning kita punya UI dan juga UX and also customers expectation. The first round when we first built back in 2012, we thankfully we got the funding from Cradle and we used that for the first part of revamping kita punya look and feel. Masa tu kita really focus on the UI portion lah to make it really simple. Now, Evenesis is a B2B app, meaning that it is not meant for any public or mass users out there. So it is meant for organizations to use. And then we have built in a lot of features. And as I mentioned earlier, when you have more features in, it's going to be more complicated.
Yeah.
I mean, you can just name me one super app that is available out there that is very easy to use. Most probably I can think of Grab kot, sebab I selalu guna Grab. Maybe when I went to Indonesia, I'll just Gojek, those kind of things. But if you look at the recent super app from AirAsia too, sorry to say lah, it's going to be really cluttered and I can't really process in terms of the usability yet. Okay, so still a long way to go. So same goes with a B2B kind of app. It requires a lot of understanding to actually make it really simple and just to build a certain portion of that module into an app. So back in 2015, when we built our first app for Evenesis, it is not the entire Evenesis. It is just one module of Evenesis for a certain purpose. Remember tadi I mentioned pasal Facebook?
Yep.
If Facebook is trying to build one mobile Facebook app that can do everything, it won't work. They have to pecah-pecahkan to several different apps depending on the users of that particular application. So we did the same approach. We looked at apa yang diperlukan dalam Evenesis ni yang perlu di mobile app kan. The rest they can use our system on mobile but on a browser which is mobile responsive. That is good enough. And this is where I would like to touch when I was mentoring and also when I was coaching some of the company startups from Coach and Guru program, even from MYHackathon recently for KL and KT. Kan? We saw people who are trying to do so many things into one.
Yes.
And the first thing that they say, I have to build an app. So everyone is going for app, I have to build it as a mobile app. Right? Why not doing it on a mobile responsive kind of mode, right? Where you can actually save your resources, you can test it out, a better prototype can be built, you can save more time, more resources, and then further improve from there. So this is where I would look at some of these ideas, some of these prototypes, and then challenge them in terms of why is there a real need to build an app. Sebab tadi pun Afifah ada cakap that we download a lot of apps kan, but you only use certain je on a daily basis yang very simple, very easy for you to just tekan satu, aku dah boleh achieve certain things. Nak pergi bank, this is the app. Nak bayar ni, this is the e-wallet that I prefer kan. So why is the need for every company out there to have its own app? Sometimes you just have to answer that question honestly and then look back at this factor of simplicity and accessibility. Can you still access it without a native app? Definitely, the answer is yes, because every mobile browser, every mobile device has a mobile browser. So yeah, I think those are the two things yang I boleh link from basically our journey and also some of the companies that I've mentored and coached so far.
Yeah, it's a nice one lah. Nice advice from you yourself, which has involved in pembangunan software ataupun aplikasi sejak dari tahun 2010 lagi. So now kita ada question daripada Facebook Live kita, section comment. But first of before that, I would like to give a deepest appreciation for this one our one of our Facebook user, which is Ben Ong. He's been consistently asking question in every of our session. Thank you very much, Ben Ong, for your questions. So soalan dia adalah hari ni, simple to access in the context of app is a tall order because target markets vary in needs and wants all at the same time. Thus, for B2C app without government enforcement, UX and UI aside, what smart shortcuts or pragmatic tips apply for quick traction?
Okay, good question. It is a tough one. Not on the answer itself, but it is a tough solution for any startups who are facing this kind of problem. Because if there is a quick formula for all of us to get quick traction, then everybody or every startup will just apply it and then get a 10x or 20x kind of users, right? So for one, we have to understand that there is no straightforward formula or there's no shortcuts to get quick traction. Okay, when we build something, it has to be, or it has to serve a need. We cannot forget that. Yeah, it has to solve a problem which is serving a certain need and serving a certain market, right? I do agree with the fact that you say that, yeah, for some B2C app without government enforcement, maybe you can't get the traction. But you can also see a lot of private apps, yeah, those who are not actually being enforced by the government, is being used, is being talked about, and the numbers of downloads, the tractions are basically organic. Yeah, I don't deny the fact that, yep, you would need to use the power of ads, yep, to boost the visibility
Yeah.
of your application. But the retention too is the most important thing, because you can spend like maybe thousands of money to get eyeballs. Okay lah, people know your app is called maybe Afifah 2.0.
Yeah.
So Afifah 2.0 letak muka Afifah kan.
Uh-uh.
Oh, this is a very nice app. So semua orang download. Tapi bila download, first thing to log in, kena sign up. Tak ada pun option untuk guna Facebook account ataupun Google account.
Yeah.
Alamak, nak kena type in banyak ni kan. Dah sign up, dia suruh tunggu OTP ataupun code.
Yeah.
Kan tak dapat, 2 hari baru dapat kan. So whatever amount that you have spent to get that visibility, to get that download, will be lost.
Yeah.
Because your app is being seen as not ready, ataupun it is not accessible enough, it is not simple enough for people to use.
Yeah.
So traction can come in many ways. To answer to the question, it can come from the fact that you are just buying downloads and then just telling people that, hey guys, I've gotten like 2 million, 5 million downloads in 1 month. See my traction? Yeah, but when we actually dive into the engagement or the retention of people, because at the end of the day, you need to build something that is going to be used. Okay, I'm in events industry, so the interesting part about being an event is that kalau Afifah perasan, any event, especially conference or exhibition out there, people will tend to build their own app, betul tak?
Yeah.
So katakan you pergi conference of I do not know lah, water ke, ataupun yang melibatkan B2B investors dan startups kan.
Yeah.
Suddenly bila you masuk, kata, oh, we have created an app, please download this app.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I'm gonna download, I'm gonna spend time to download, and then I'm just gonna use it for that 1-day event. And then after the event, I'm just gonna uninstall it.
Uninstall it, yes.
You see how wasteful that is?
So tak practical lah.
Exactly. So traction can come in many ways, as I mentioned, and we have to be very practical about it, and we have to be really understanding about the market, the needs, and the solution that we're trying, the problem that we're trying to solve. Okay.
So that's a good answer untuk soalan daripada apa tu, Ben Ong. Thank you so much, Yusno, for your answers. So my final question ataupun conclusion kita hari ini. So what is more important? Is it accessibility or simplicity, or both of it is equally important?
Afifah rasa apa?
Rasa macam kena important lah. Dua-dua kena ada.
Okay, my answer to that is, if we take one of the variable, which is accessibility.
Yep.
If accessibility is given, meaning that you need to ensure your app is accessible, right? Then definitely simplicity is your secret weapon, right? The simplest one, the easiest to use, the one that provides the best experience wins the game.
Okay.
Right? So, and of course, the application that we are talking about must serve a purpose and market lah. It cannot be something that I think it will solve a certain problem, but the need is not there.
Yep.
Even though you spend like millions of ringgit to make it really simple with the best UX and UI designer in it kan, tapi sebenarnya tak ada orang pun nak guna. So orang tengok first kali, oh cantiknya app dia, tapi untuk apa yang kita nak guna ni? Right?
Betul.
So yeah, I think you can put it as, you need to consider both aspects, accessibility and simplicity, but as I mentioned earlier, the simplest one, the easiest to use, and the one that provides the best experience will win it.
Okay. So we've come to the end of the session. So before kita close session kita yang terakhir untuk minggu ini, okay? So I nak tanya lightning round lah, lightning question for you, Yusno. So what is your sweetest moment yang Yusno tak akan lupakan for the whole of your life?
Sweetest moment?
Yeah.
Oi, banyak ni, susah ni. Ni pasal business ke? Pasal personal ke apa ni? Okay, I think I would say the best decision that I've made lah, which is to actually try out the idea that I had with my wife. and
Yeah.
with the support from my wife itself back in 2009 after I resigned from my job. And then we just thought of, let's try this out. Let's push this idea out, put it on paper, submit it to any funders or agency who believe in this idea and make it happen. So
Yep.
the initial part was the toughest, especially when we do not have any experience in business. Family semua pun we did not come from a history where people have done business. So something new. I think the decision of doing that and menceburi bidang entrepreneurship ni is something that I will cherish. I would say forever. Of
Yep.
course, aside from having a family that is very supportive of what we are trying to achieve.
So based on your cerita experience, I think you are boleh dikatakan OG jugalah. Okay, terima kasih banyak Yusno atas perkongsian yang sangat berguna pastinya untuk mereka yang sedang membina aplikasi dan juga perisian di luar sana. Begitu juga dengan partisipan MYHackathon kita. Poin-poin yang telah kita bincangkan hari ini sebentar tadi pastinya antara perkara penting yang perlu dipertimbangkan ataupun diambil perhatian untuk menghasilkan aplikasi yang mudah dan mesra rakyat. Itu yang penting, mesra rakyat. So sekali lagi terima kasih Yusno.
Terima kasih Afifah, MYHackathon.
Okay, semoga lebih berjaya di masa akan datang. Kami doakan, insyaAllah. Amin. So anda semua jangan lupa juga untuk kekal bersama kami, okay, MYHackathon Daily Update setiap hari Isnin hingga Jumaat. Okay, kita akan bermula semula untuk slot hari Isnin depan. Di Facebook Live, Cradle Fund. Jangan lupa juga untuk melalui laman sesawar MYHackathon di www.myhackathon.gov.my untuk perkembangan terkini. Time to digitalize, streamline, simplify and disrupt government delivery. Stay safe. Jumpa lagi. Assalamualaikum. Bye.